Hello everybody, what's up? And of course, welcome back. You're here with me, Shapeless, aka the Game Tamer, and today we're going to be doing an in-depth coverage of my first main and personal first favorite hero in Gigantic, the Margrave. We are going to be we're going to have an in-depth tutorial on his abilities, what he can do, things like interesting interactions, and all that good stuff. Now, we're going to go over build patterns and things like that, and where he kind of fits into his kind of overall role, depending on which stat and position-wise you take. Now, in this, you kind of start off with all your combo points, so as you can see at the bottom, there's a little flashing 10. And then, of course, your abilities are left click, right click, Q, and E. And surprisingly enough, your alt is actually F. And what's cool? It's actually kind of cool because it makes it so that everything's a little easier. I don't know the controls for Xbox, so unfortunately, I can't really give you those ones. But the way the game works, I'll give you some basic knowledge of the game. Is there's going to be these control points. You see how there's one A here, and then there's another one over off yonder where I'm facing, and there's kind of like an enemy guy there, and that would be the Guardian's icon, and the little circle is one of these. And the thing is when you run up to one of these, you have 3 positions or 2 positions, depending on where you are in the map or which game position you are. And what you do is you build one of 3 things, which are reveal enemies, which gives you a little tiny Cerberus pup, which will actually attack enemies and reveal everybody within a certain radius. Heal allies, which does the obvious thing, it heals everybody. And build gates, which covers gates that only your team can get through at like certain weird choke points, which is actually really helpful at times depending on where you place them. For the sake of this one, I'm just going to do a heal allies. So, yeah, the summonings take a little bit, but everybody has to do them, so generally everyone's going to have that little small setback at the very beginning. And then from there, you kind of scout out other positions, but for the sake of everything else, this isn't going to be the in-game tutorial time, this is character tutorial time. So here we have the Margrave. You have your basic attacks, which is just a simple 4-hit combo. Whoa. Lagging my butt off. Woo. Which is just a simple 4-hit combo. And that is how he lives his life. And as you can see, the reset combo. Alright, his right click is as you can see, and you can click on the abilities here. Rapid attack. Deflects projectiles from the front. Cooldown increased by 1 second for each second you used it. So, the longer you use it, the longer the cooldown is going to end up being. It does reflect, and it does also deal a small amount of damage, as you will see here. It actually does a pretty hefty amount of damage, so that's always good to know as well. His Q is a dash, which rushes you forward, and it pushes enemies away, and you also get frontal damage reduction when you do the charge. That looks like this. And then you have his E, which is a jump, which if you hold it, you can have this sort of like positioning icon. Then when you let it go, you jump to it. And what that does is it's a leaping attack that briefly stuns. Now, briefly stun is just 0.5 seconds. So now we're going to get into upgrades. You can upgrade your basic attacks, your ultimates, your right click, of course, all your abilities, and then there's these ones here, which you can take as early as possible. I don't think you have to wait a certain amount of time. We're going to walk away from this young bloomer because he's loud as hell. So, you have the basic attack upgrades, which if you go for the damage route, which I generally go for my basic attacks, you get a powerful finishing attack at the end, where he like smashes his hand on the ground and deals this large like damage boost. From there, as you can see, you can do critical blow, which increases the crit chance of your attacks, or your final attack has a dramatic crit chance increase, so it can hit really hard. And you have Demon's Reach, which basically makes it so that your final attack deals more damage and also has an AoE hit to it. It deals more damage the more enemies it hits. Then you have Counter, which gives you frontal damage reduction when hitting from the back. It also interrupts and weakens, and does more damage to enemies that are actually attacking you. From there, you can do the Resounding Counter, which from the back while nearby enemies are interrupted when you hit them and weakened. And Debilitating Blows, which Double Strike, which after countering. After countering, you get LB, which is Demon Fist, which extends the weakness duration. I'll have to try that out. But I can give you more like advanced tips and tricks like that in maybe a later video. This is just going to be your baseline videos for characters. Hellburst. Hellburst is your Reflect, which you can make it last twice as long, which is the tanky-ish option, which is a really good option for if you're in like a squad or a group, and probably the most meta option. Then you take Impenetrable Flame if like there's not a whole lot of projectile-based characters, and you take Give 'em Hell if there is a lot of projectile-based characters, like H206 or something like that, who will shoot a lot of bullets at you, or like a Beckett, who's also shooting at you. Or you can go, which is another really fun route if you're going to go just like Bruiser, you can just have deals more damage. You can also have Nowhere to Run, which slows enemies on hit, or you can make it so that it crits, and it'll actually increase your crit chance as it hits. So you can increase your critical chance on like a lot of abilities like crazy fast, and you can make him hit like a truck, which is awesome. Then you have your Q, one of my favorite abilities to upgrade. You have the Slightly Tanky option, which is kind of like a engage disengage tool, where the distance is increased simply, and then you can have it remove debuffs from him and nearby allies when he uses it, and you can also have him gain 50 armor and not be interruptible basically when he uses it. Or you can take my personal favorite, which you can make it so that after you hit something you can hit Q again and it'll stop them, and make it so that you don't push them. And you don't go as far when you do this, but it interrupts attackers, so it'll interrupt channels and things like that. And from there, you can do Throwback Attack, which is awesome, which you dash in and grab them, and you'll actually throw them behind you or like straight up in the air, depending on like where you're grabbing them, which kind of sucks. And it's really good for like engaging in a team fight or something like that, and it's really fun. Or, once again, you can go the damage route, where you create a cone of flame, and you ignite enemies, which deals burn damage. I haven't managed to screw around with this yet, but I really want to. Then you have your E, which generally the tank option for this is Blunt Trauma, which increases the stun to 1 second, and makes it so that it's just a really, really strong engage tool, so that you can like just E into a backline of a fight, and then Q, grab somebody, throw them to the front line, and then your team just murders them. Then you can increase the stun duration while weakening yourself, which generally I don't go for. I usually go Shake, Rattle, and Roll, which makes it so that you get the 1 second stun, and then afterwards they're still slowed for 3 seconds. So it makes it so that if you jump into an entire team, you have this big CC for the remainder, and it's just really good. Then you can go the damage option, of course, which is a lot of fun. You can make it travel further and deal more damage, and then it actually doesn't lose its 0.5 second stun if you do this. Fun fact. So it's actually still really good. Then you can do Staggering Leap, make it the cooldown minus 8 seconds, which is really nice if you're going the damage route. And then you can also gain 50 armor from it for 5 seconds after you do it. So that's a nice, like, I want to go DPS, but I want to go hybrid kind of build. So that's a hell of a lot of fun. I'll probably go over these in a video after I can explain all the Clash stuff, because during Clash is kind of an important role. So we'll go over that at another time. Then you have your ultimates, which has 3 phases to it, but I don't think the phases matter other than just summoning. But once again, I'll get into that in another video. So you can have his ultimate, which does a large knockup, which, as you can see, creates a shockwave that launches enemies upward and gains 15 armor for 5 seconds. You can have him also gain 50% max health, 15% max health, or gain an additional 5 armor, and after using focus, gain plus 200 max health for 5 seconds. So that's also really nice. So if you go that route, you can do 20% faster focus gain, which makes it so that you can ult more often, which is really nice. Or, after using focus, you gain 10 armor for each enemy hit, which just makes him super fucking tanky and hard to kill. Now, if you go the 15% max health route, you can make him immune to crits, which is really nice, but isn't like super useful because it's a very like situational problem thing. Or you can give him plus 20% self-healing when out of combat and your health returns faster. So both of these are also really good. I would honestly probably take Iron Skin over Hero's Vitality, even though it seems like the 15% would probably be better. The plus 200 is nice, the armor is nice, and if you want to go concentration or pound of armor, you have more options. So I think that the meta options for the Margrave, when it comes to him as a role, he is going to be filling the tank role. So for the most part, your basic attacks will probably go Doomstrike into Demon's Reach or Critical Blow just to give you some damage. Your right click will go Hellburst into Impenetrable Flame if you just need melee, or Give 'em Hell if you have a lot of ranged attackers against you. The ultimate will be Iron Skin into Concentration or Pound of Armor. That one's your choice. Your Q will be probably Rush In attack with a throwback attack if you like being like the initiator for your team. Or you can also go Relentless and Pure Aggression if you want to go more of a like ally support tank. Or you can go Irresistible Charge if you want to just be this I'm just going to be in here causing mayhem tank. Then you have your E, which I would still suggest, unless you're going damage, to do Blunt Trauma into Shake, Rattle, and Roll. I really think that that is the most obvious choice for this character in the overall game mode as it sits now. But that's it for this one, guys. Thank you for tuning in. I'm sorry if the game's if it seemed a little mundane. I know I didn't do a whole lot of like random interaction stuff. But something funny he can do is he can get a little extra airtime out of his jump if you jump and attack. He also do like this leaping slap, which is a funny thing that I figured out with him early on because I really just want a Dunk Master skin for him. Like, it's just going to be great. But anyway, guys, thank you for the support. Thank you for watching the video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Leave a comment below if you want to see a certain character or anything like that. I can get them up to you as fast as possible. But once again, and as always, guys, that is it for me this time. Once again, and as always, God, I repeat myself all the time, but stay tame. I'm going to try to do the same, and I will see you all in the next one.